So we're going to get started with Harvest Keeper. This is something that stuck out to me as being a scam and ultimately rugged and stole nearly $1 million in crypto. So let's get started, people. Up here, we are actually on Web Archive. The original Harvest Keeper site is no longer available, as is typical when a project rugs. But we're going to go through and look at a couple different things that should definitely make you question whether or not this is something that's going to take your money. First things first, 4.81% a day. That's a really, really impressive number. Don't think it's realistic. Most of the projects that I've seen that are offering something like that are a Ponzi or are a scam. 8% referral, which means 8% of everybody's deposit is probably paying out to somebody else immediately. You got to make a lot of money to keep up with that. So as we scroll down, we see a lot of different things. Website looks fairly professional. It doesn't look like it was slapped together by a third grader. Of all projects you'll see, has a calculator. They claim to be, they are audited by Contract Wolf and KYC'd by who knows. When a project claims to be audited and KYC'd, highly encourage you as part of your own research to go through and review the contract. Review the audit and understand what's being said. Just because they were audited doesn't mean it's a safe contract. Same with KYC. KYCs are just another business, right? And just like any business, some of them are better than others. One of the things they like to do to entice you is these different publications to lend some credence to what they're saying. Don't be swayed. A lot of this is paid advertising. So we come down here and we see the team. This is where I really got a good sense of this is probably a scam. So we look at Marcus Peters. If you do a reverse image search, you find Marcus Peters. Oh, look who shows up. I get that some projects don't want information publicly available and for everybody to know who they are. I'd much rather have a project owner say, I'm not comfortable with that because of XYZ, than to tell me, hey, I'm being upfront, and then basically hire somebody to be the front man, which this appears is what they did. So if we go back to Harvest Keepers, Martin here, we're going to look at his socials real quick. Lorenz and Genry, we're not going to look at their socials, and I'll explain in a moment. So you go to Martin's Twitter account. This is definitely not a good sign. This is not what I originally got straight to his profile. But if you see something where Twitter or somebody is saying, hey, this is a problem, you might want to take a peek at that. So as we look through, we see that all of this is retweet after retweet after retweet. When we scroll down, which another interesting point is, we're nearly at the end of March. His last even retweet was at March 10th. He is following nobody since August 2021 and is following no one whatsoever, but has all these retweets. And then we scroll down, we're going to be looking for their project launched in January sometime. I don't know the exact date. So we're going to be looking for January dates on some of his tweets and his history to try to understand, hey, what did he say about his own project? And as you go through, you're going to notice there is nothing. And this, you can go on and on and on. We're back to the beginning of January at this point. Nothing. Not a darn thing. You can go back and back and back. Raises some flags for me. So let's go look at his LinkedIn. We'll look at his recent activity, take a look at his recent activity, and we're going to see a similar pattern as to what we saw on Twitter. Lots of reshares, certainly nothing recent. And then when we go to look at his actual profile, we see fairly limited number of connections on LinkedIn, which I get it. If you're private, maybe. I'm not very active, and I don't add many people, and I've got way more than 20 connections. Fairly sparse LinkedIn profile. I could take you through the other two's socials, but what you're going to find is it's more of the same. It's oddly similar to what we're seeing on Martin's socials. And once again, the only mention of Harvest Keeper on LinkedIn is that he's the CEO. There is no post about it. There is no, I get it. Maybe he doesn't feel it's the appropriate space to promote a project, but you'd think he'd at least be talking about the technology, the this, the that, and be excited. I don't see that in any of the socials for any of them. So with all that, it kind of makes you think, geez, are these even real socials, right? That's about as far as I dug into this. The information I got from the socials kind of gave me pause enough to say, this isn't worth it. This is going to cause me to lose money instead of make it, which is exactly the opposite of what we're all trying to do. I know this video is a little late, but I think it's a good example of digging below the surface a little bit, right? It didn't take much. At first glance, everything seems in place, right? And I've been caught out by that before myself. Just because they have socials, dig into their socials. And more than just, oh yeah, it looks like a Twitter page, right? Like, dig in. How many people are they following? Oh, no one. That's interesting. What kind of information are they posting? What are they saying about their own project? In this case, nothing. They're not saying anything. And the other socials of the other leaders of that team look the same. So I didn't bother to go on from there. So yeah, that's where we're at.